Okay, so what we need to note under our suppliers settings is, you know, you'll be paying from a particular account, right? So you'll be selecting the account that you're paying for. So we are just viewing payment here. We are not adding anything or removing anything from this suppliers information. But just for your information, that whenever you are sending out an account, you want to pay for a particular supplier, then you have to determine which of your set bank are you paying from, right? Okay, so that's that about that. So now we are moving on to items. Under items, we have add an item. So I said earlier that items is anything that you're trading in, maybe a product or probably some of your different services you offer to people. So if it is product, you add it. If it is services, you add it as well. Likewise, you can generate the list of different items that you're doing. So you can a few transactions, items adjustment, and items selling price. If you want to adjust those ones, so you can adjust the opening balance and renumber item codes. Likewise, you can give reports of your items. So let's see, add item. Okay, so under this item here, you are expected to give each item a code for you to be able to recognize them. So it is expected that every item should have a code, and you describe what item it is and under which category is it are falling under. Is it apparel, is it parts, is it service? So whichever one you want to select based on your own company, you do it. So is it a physical good or is it a service? So you select it here so that some options will be able to be limited, just like SKUs and the rest of them. If it's a service, it doesn't require an SKU, it doesn't require the number of products in the stock house or in the warehouse or something. So that is why you have to select either of these two. So what's the opening cost, what's the opening quantity, and what's the opening quantity as sat today that you are registering the new item. So how many quantities do you have? Opening quantity has to be here, and the opening quantity as at a particular date will be here as opening cost. So you can see the price list. You can set up the price list here. So default price list and February price list. Maybe you want to add some other price list or something, so you can do all that. You can edit all this here to select maybe a price list for them, so including, so you can edit the price list here. So the activities notes, you want to add some notes, you want to use user defined fields just like we explained in the previous or you want to add a picture of the item, you can click this and click add picture to upload your file. This may not be exceed 1 MB, so size format and so you can upload the item image here, so for better um, description and recognition. So you can see your sales graph here based on this new item that you are adding. So you can come down here and generate the list of items, list of bundles that you have, so item bundles and item categories. So you can generate transaction, you can adjust some items, maybe you want to increase them or decrease them, or based on sales and the rest of them, or you want to adjust the selling price. Likewise, the special aspects where you can adjust the opening balance and renumber item codes. So you can generate reports for your items, sales by items, purchase by item, customer quotes by item. So all of these you can generate them based on your requirements. So let's look at the banking. So banking, this is going to be showing the information of where you are making payments, on where you are receiving your payments into, starting from adding a bank or a credit card. So new bank name, the category of the banks, is it a check account or a credit card you want to have something. So default payment method, is it cash or a check or credit or EFT, so whichever one you want to pick. So the bank name, the bank account number, this bank account name, the branch name, the description, the opening balance with the bank, is it active or that's been defaulted, so you can select which one it is. So you can add notes under it, and you can actually select if there's any activity to it. It's going to, we are just creating new, so there's no activity yet. So if there's any notes you want to put that this account was opened this particular day or something, so you can have all those in there. So under the list, you can create list of banks and credit cards. You can see the list if you've created, if you've added different number of banks and credit cards, so you can generate a list of them. You can bank and credit card categories, you can generate the list of that. Quick entry rules, so let's look at this quick entry rules before looking at the bank statement mapping rules. So I've talked briefly about the quick entry rules in our previous class. So if you want an accounting to remember my page and description in the list below and automatically comprehend the type and transaction, you can actually click this if you want your page to be recognized automatically in the accounting section. So enter this payee Agnes, set this description to rent, set the type to account with the selection as rent. So use the following VAT, no VAT. So these are different quick entry rules that you want to input in your system. So like I've explained what the entry rules is in the following, so you can use that in getting what this entry rules is all about. So I don't want to waste much time on explaining what has been explained before, so most especially when we don't have to do practical things. Okay, so here we have the bank statement mapping rules. I've explained that too earlier. So you can check for duplicates based on date and amount. You can check for duplicates based on new and review transactions. So if there are any of these rules here, they are going to show here: the VAT, the search bank statement, payee, account display description, and the search priority is very high or low. So you can select those ones too under there. So you can do some transactions, probably if you want to pay from a bank. So this is the current account balance of our national bank current account. So we've done 126 transactions from it. So you can import bank statement and you can export to for further information. So this is like the bank statement, so what we spent and what we received. So you can save changes, you can mark selected as reviewed, you can mark all as reviewed. So here you can show more or less. If you want to show more, you can do that here. And here, if you want to create a rule for this particular transaction, you can create a rule. Enter the text to map to this description found in your bank statement. Enter the payee here, ESCOM. So you can create a rule for I'm not creating any rule for this because it's a demo account. You can hardly touch it. Okay, here you can split your transaction into 2 or 3. So you see, you can split them, add more and deduct more. So you can add an attachment and you can allocate this particular transaction. So like as you can add and remove some information on this and back statement. So bank reconcile banks and credit cards. You can do this to reconcile banks and credit card leaf page. So this is the name of the bank, the balance you have, the statement account, the statement balance from this date to this date. So from national petty cash account, minus 400 transfer, minus 400 rands, and the description is transfer. So if this has been reconciled, you click on them. These are the list of information that requires reconciliation. So if it has been reconciled, so these are the list of unreconciled transactions. So if it has been reconciled, mark them as reconciled and you save to get. So you can manage bank feeds as well. Okay, bank feeds is unavailable. So you can read up what bank feeds is from here. So you can generate reports based on banks and credit cards, transaction, cash movements, cash flow, bank feeds, and audit trail. But that trail will be used for the account. So cash flow report from which month to which month and which group, bank name, bank account from when to when, likewise the category from which to which. So both active and inactive, and you can generate your report from there. Let's say from check amount, from bank, investment bank to investment bank. So non monthly to current month, let's say okay, monthly to current month. And now the report. So there is no data for the specified range. So if there is any data for the specified range that you've selected, it's going to show and generate the report. So under the special, you can adjust our bank credit cards and their opening balances. And here under accounts, this is where you create your chart of account. So we have list of account here, and we have items of account. So let's add an account first and see how we can do that. So we all know what chart of account is. So this is where we put the name of our account and the category, if it is sales, if it is cost of sales, if it is other income, if it's coming under expense, if it's coming under income tax. So if you want to ask your accountant, you can send this if you're not sure of what you want to. So here is where we set up our different accounts based on the category, if it is sales, if it is cost of sales, if it is other income, if it is expense, if it is current assets. And if it is that you don't know, you can actually ask your accountant if the user of this thing is not an accountant. You can send it into your account. So the opening balance will be here, and the opening balance as at which particular date. So the VAT type, is it a standard, is it zero rated or something? So you can select the VAT type that befits your country, and the description. So there is no activity yet because we are adding new, so you can add a note here and save. Okay, so you can generate the list of every account you have. So we have sales categorized under sales. We have consulting revenue also categorized under sales. So if you have any other account that is making sales for you, you categorize them under sales. So these are purchases, they are going under cost of sales, as you know. So discount received are going under income. So bad debts recovered, other income, because that's been written off before. So interest received, likewise other income. So these are different type of accounts that has been set up, and we've also explained in our previous chart of accounts explanation what are the expenses, what are the types of other income that you have, the cost of sales and the sales. So these are different type of accounts you can find under these types of accounts. So as an accountant, you are expected to know if you're setting up a new account, under which chart of account is it going. Is it under sales, is it under cost of sales, is it under other income, or other under expenses? So you can start categorizing and adding new to your company if it is required. So you can import accounts, and you can account reporting groups, so you can do this too. You can generate quick reports from here. Okay, so you can generate list of account and item accounts. So you can adjust the opening balance, and you can give report on account listing and account transactions. Okay, so your accountant area, you can send a note to your accountant if the person using this particular application is not an accountant. So you can process journal entries, you can recurring journal entries can be processed here. You can set up your VAT, you can set up reports and trial balance. So under this report, before we come back to this journal entries and recurring journal entries and VAT and this rest of them, let's quickly look at the reports. So under this report, you can use an intelligence reporting. We'll be able to use this intelligence reporting here because we are using a demo account. So you can make a general report on your customers, suppliers, items, just like we've seen earlier. Likewise, your asset reports, budget reports, and all that. So under your company, you can set up your assets here. If you have a new asset that you want to set up, and you can add company notes and attachments to your website. So here you can set up your assets, the description of the asset, under which category is it going. There's no category for assets yet, so you can add new. So you can add a new category for your asset, if it is furniture and fittings, if it is plant and machinery and the rest of them. So the location where the asset is, you impute it, add new location. If one is in the finance department, or the operations department, or in the manufacturing department or something, the date it was purchased, the serial number, portion, all these are methods of ensuring you have a record of your assets perfectly for future use in depreciation, and determine what the net book value will be. So you can uh, input all this: the purchase price, the current value in the market, the replacement value. So all this can actually be done yourself. So if you have defined field text values, yes or no values, so text field, yes or no field, you can actually use this for further information. So that's how you can add an asset. So you can list your assets, you can list asset categories, you can see asset locations and assets general report, just like you can see here as well, asset report. So still here we're gonna be talking about budget. So analysis code, you can import and export data, and you can check on your opening balances before you come down to admin. So let's quickly see how we can process your journal entries. So we'll start with journal entries in our next class.